I saw Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, I knew I was gonna like this movie because I'm a big fan of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, but I was not prepared for what this movie gave me. Y'all, this is my multiverse of madness. This is my multiverse. Oh my gosh. This movie shocked me at what it put out there. I laughed so many times and I was so nostalgic so many times. Yeah, dude, this is so my movie. This is such a movie for me. So this movie is about Chip and Dale and the Rescue Rangers. It talks about their television show they used to have back in the day in the Disney afternoon, but that show has ended. Time has gone by. We are now in present day. Dale looks a little bit different because he's got CGI surgery, so he's 3D, but Chip is still in 2D. And you have this whole world where live action and cartoon characters all live together. If you are a fan of animation, particularly the 80s and 90s, but also just animation in general, there's a lot of cool stuff in here with animation. And it's not even stuff that's so prominent all the time right in front of you. It's a lot of just stuff in the background. The movie does a really good job in just trying to create a Los Angeles where humans and cartoon characters exist. It's like they broke down the walls of Toontown and they're just letting all the cartoons in. Oh, that just sounded weird. All these cartoons are taking over my land. And what's really cool is that it has all kinds of animation going on in this movie. 2D animation, 3D animation, CGI, Uncanny Valley, bad CGI, puppets, stop motion. It has everything, including some characters that are from Disney, and maybe a few that are not from Disney. They actually thanked the Disney legal team for making this movie, because there's some stuff in this movie you're like, Disney did that? Okay. It's a new mouse. But beyond that, it's also a cute story of Chip and Dale. Yes, if you can get over the fact that John Mulaney and Andy Samberg are doing the voices of Chip and Dale, which I understand, although there are a couple times where you hear them sound like Chip and Dale as we know them. Some of the characters are celebrity voiced, some of the characters are original voiced, some characters have some surprising voices, but all of it, I feel like, for the context of this movie, works. Chip and Dale's chipmunk voice is their actor voice. They chip switch. I don't want to say too much about the plot. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say it involves something that really happens to popular cartoon characters. So I thought it was really cool they were able to incorporate this actual thing into the plot line of their story, and it makes for some nice visual gags. It's very simple. It's very to the point. Never was a point where I felt like the movie got slowed down or got a lull or anything. It was always like going. There's a lot of funny dialogue in this. There's obviously a lot of cool references in this. There are a couple of Rescue Ranger references that they make up, but then there's a good number of Rescue Ranger references that are like legit. Like some episodes that called out. Clearly some Rescue Rangers research was done. All the Rescue Rangers are there. Some have more screen time than others, but all the Rescue Rangers show up. Oh man, but there is something that happens with a couple of the Rescue Rangers. I'm really intrigued on what the internet's gonna feel about that. And this movie is very meta about reboots, about animation, about use of intellectual property. It plays that fine line of it makes fun of things, but also kind of does some of those things as well. But I think it's a nice fine line they walk. I just love that this movie doesn't take itself too seriously. Let's make fun of, but also feel love towards animation in general. I was smiling so much watching this movie. I was laughing so much. I was pointing some things out. I apologize to anyone who sat near me when I was watching this thing, because I got a little talky in the theater because I was just like, hey. That's the weird thing about this movie, because I did get the opportunity to watch it in a theater setting, and I understand it's going to be on Disney Plus, and I think it's probably a good movie to watch on Disney Plus. It's a very pause and watch frame by frame to see what's going on in the background or to try to catch certain characters. But at the same time, there are some scenes in this movie that I'm like, oh, that would have been a cool scene to watch with a group of people in a theater. Particularly one character. I don't want to say what it is, but trust me, if you watch this movie, you will know who I'm talking about. Somebody got redeemed. Something that was hated is now beloved. I take back everything I said. Oh, this movie just messed up my mind, man. Like, this movie was made for me. Someone wrote this and went, Andre specifically is going to like this movie. So if you are like me, if you have my style of humor and my style of nostalgia, maybe you'll like this. I can't speak for you. This is all about me, my video, and my video is saying I freaking love the Rescue Rangers movie. I love it. This is literally, this is probably one of the best straight to streaming movies I have seen, period. Legit. Would I have liked to have seen a regular reboot of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, kind of similar to what they did with DuckTales? Of course that would have been nice to see. And it might even be possible that it could still happen. Maybe if the popularity of this movie is big enough, they might be like, oh yeah, let's do something new with Rescue Rangers. Other ways I could have seen Rescue Rangers done, but this way is freaking fun. And I'm gonna enjoy this freaking fun. So as someone who is a huge fan of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, whether it's a meta version, a regular version, a rebooted version, I don't care what you do with them. The fact that they are just back in some kind of way just makes me all kind of happy. But not only was it great to see the Rescue Rangers again, it was great to see them in a movie that I had a blast watching, that was just so funny, so silly, so meta, so referential, and just so good. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Rescue Rangers.